that big hearing for OJ Simpson. He's going to face a Nevada parole board tomorrow. After 9 years in prison for armed robbery, that board has the power to set him free. ABC's Matt Gutman is on the scene at Lovelock Prison in Nevada. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. And the victim you mentioned in that armed robbery, he told us overnight he will testify in that parole hearing and on OJ Simpson's behalf. Now, the bets here in Nevada are that Simpson will get paroled, and perhaps in anticipation of that, Simpson has gotten himself into great shape. Officials tell us he's lost a lot of weight here. New details this morning about OJ Simpson's upcoming parole hearing, which could set him free after 9 years at this prison in the Nevada wilderness. It's not uncommon to have a victim present at a hearing like this, but what seems to be uncommon is that the victim is speaking on Simpson's behalf.
That's kind of what we're expecting, and you never know until it happens.
Simpson was convicted of a botched robbery against Bruce Fromong and his friend in 2007. It was an attempt, Simpson said, to get back his personal memorabilia, one which instead got him up to a 33-year sentence. We last saw the former Heisman winner and movie star 4 years ago at his 2013 parole hearing.
I've not had any incidences, despite all the stories in the tabloids and everything. I haven't had one incident since I've been here.
We expect to hear from a now 70-year-old OJ Simpson in Thursday's parole hearing, which will be streamed live to the public. He'll have a few family members with him inside, along with his lawyer and that victim, Bruce Fromong, who tells ABC News he will speak in support of Simpson. Craig Arnett got to see Simpson regularly during his first 3 years behind bars as a prison guard. Would you say that he was a model prisoner?
I would say, yeah. He's still an inmate, but he definitely wasn't a problem child like some of the other ones were.
His reportedly impeccable conduct in prison, something the parole board will consider when making its decision. What do you think his chances are of getting probation?
I think he has a strong chance of getting out. I think he hasn't really been a problem in prison. He's got a good chance of getting out.
That parole board, consisting of 6 commissioners, will also consider the potential risk he poses to society should he be released. Simpson needs a majority vote, 4 of the 6 to be granted freedom. In 1995,
Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder.
Simpson was famously acquitted in the brutal slayings of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend, Ron Goldman, a case the parole board is supposed to ignore. Now, if he is paroled, Simpson won't be released from prison until October 1st. Now, he's got a number of things going for him. His age, that unblemished prison record, and of course, the support of that victim. And while he may be getting out of prison, he is not going to be out of legal trouble. The Goldman family telling me they are going to hound him for that $33 million settlement they won against him in that civil suit in 1997. George.
Okay, Matt, thanks. Let's bring in our legal team. Dan Abrams is back with us. Nancy Grace joining us as well. So, Dan, the consensus seems to be he's going to get paroled.
Yeah, likely, meaning they have literally 11 factors that they consider, and they score it. +1, -1, etc. And remember, O.J. Simpson was already granted parole on 5 of the 12. So everyone now believes that if you take what the parole board did previously, you think about the fact that O.J. Simpson still hasn't had problems in prison, he's probably going to get parole. But he's O.J. Simpson. and there's that factor out there that remains, meaning the fact that the world knows about the murder case, knows that he was found responsible in a civil case. It shouldn't matter. The question is going to be, does it?
Will it matter, Nancy?
I'll tell you what will matter. Several of the factors this parole board will be considering, including the severity of the crime and aggravating circumstances. Those aggravating circumstances don't have to be convictions. And let me remind everybody, am I the only one that remembers that 97 jury that said he did commit double murder? That was a civil jury, and it was a unanimous verdict. And this parole board can consider that as well. They can look at what that civil jury said, and that jury said that he cut the throat of his ex-wife and stabbed Ron Goldman 30 times. I mean, it's like you guys don't want to recognize the elephant in the room.
Well,
a jury said he is a double killer.
I read through the 11 factors that they can consider, and I didn't see civil lawsuits being one of them. Did I miss that one?
It said aggravating factors and other evidence. And not only that, when it refers to other crimes, it doesn't say convictions.
So when you read other crimes, you think it can be things that he was accused of and acquitted of?
Listen, this is not a jury trial. This is a parole board. This is within their discretion. And again, he was sentenced to 9 to 33 years. He's done 9 years on a 33-year sentence. How can this parole board let him go if they have any conscience at all?
Well, and that's the question, right? I mean, they have a lot of discretion. Nancy's absolutely right. And conscience does become the question. But if you were to compare him to anyone else in his position, meaning let's say he was Steve Simpson and not OJ Simpson.
Somebody else that a civil jury said was guilty of double murder, of leaving his wife nearly decapitated in the front yard?
Look, I just don't think that they can start considering what a civil jury did. I mean, it's just not a relevant factor.
Under aggravating circumstances. Yes,
but it's not an aggravating circumstance in connection.
Aggravating circumstances. That aggravates me, Dan.
Well, I'm sure
I don't know if it doesn't aggravate you, but it aggravates me.
It aggravates me, too, in the sense that I am convinced that the verdict in the civil case, as I've said many times publicly, was the right one. That doesn't change the fact that the parole board is deciding on another case.
Guy walk.
You guys are not going to agree today.
When something feels wrong, when something feels wrong, it is wrong, and this is wrong.
It's not the way the law works.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the last word today. Thank you both. And I'm going to be anchoring our live coverage of the OJ Simpson parole hearing tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's here right on ABC. And before that hearing, we're going to speak exclusively with Fred and Kim Goldman. That's the father and sister of Ron Goldman. That's tomorrow.